Janeane Bernstein and Bree Darling.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. This is on. So I actually met Bree through the She Rocks a couple years ago, and I thought she'd be a perfect moderator for my event. And she's got some questions she's going to ask me, and then we're going to do a Q&A, open it up to you in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Right?
So ready to start?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we all want to know what inspired you to write Get the Funk Out, Stuff Happens, and what to do next.
Okay. So first, before this book came my radio show, Get the Funk Out, because at the end of 2010, I lost a really good friend of mine. It was so sudden, and it was completely just threw me for a loop. So I left the station, took a year off, and I need to kind of get a grip because I was in this massive state of depression. And along the way, I came up with the idea, well, really the thought of why is it some people can get out of a funk and some people cannot? Like, what is it that people do to get out of this terrible state of depression, even if it's a small step? So I ran the name Get the Funk Out to my dad, who was the king of the F-bomb, by the way. He was like, I don't like it. And I'm like, I think it's perfect, because it really grabbed people, it was funny, and it helped me in a lot of ways. So along the way, I started doing the show, and I found that it was a great vehicle to get me out of my mindset and go let other people share their stories, which were very humbling, because I heard stories that didn't even compare to what I had been through. And then after hundreds of interviews, I felt like, I got a book here. There are too many incredible stories to not share. Yeah, and that's how it started.
Great. What are some of the ways someone can identify that they are in a funk and what to do next?
I mean, everybody in this room has been through something. And, you know, on all different levels. When you're younger, you think the breakup with somebody is the worst thing that ever happened to you. And then through time, you're like, what was I even thinking? Or, you know, it's something more tragic. And when you can't get out of bed, you don't want to talk to people, you shut people out, you lose touch with what you used to love to do, that's when you know you're in a funk. And no one can tell you, okay, you're done grieving, that's it, time to move on, get going. It's very personal. My stepmother went through the worst funk because she lost my dad end of 2015. And we were never close growing up, which was really interesting. And through this process of losing my dad, we're now really close. I talk to her every day. And she would get very resentful when someone said, okay, you know, you haven't done anything, come on, you gotta get out. And she would get angry, and I don't blame her. And it's just, my feeling is one step at a time, just do something. There's a woman who's 92 who was interviewed in Boston, and she runs, and this is going to be you, Susan, my friend's a triathlete. Sorry to point you at. The woman said, just move your body, you know? Listen to music, do things you used to love or you always wanted to do. What are you waiting for?
Do some funks start little and grow? I mean, do they all start from something super traumatic, or do some things start small from some little thing that grows?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about like your fears when you were little,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this. I was telling my daughter how when my mom married somebody else, he kept this really creepy poster on the window, and I walked in one day, and it was a werewolf. It was disgusting. He thought it would be funny to scare me, and I was 4, and it had fangs, and he was like, go in the room and get blah, blah, blah. And it scared me, and it was trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I became very scared of the dark because of that crazy
that
thing.
poster.
Right, so that can affect you in so many ways when you think about trauma as a child.
And it makes me wonder then too, is sometimes something can happen and you might not even realize it's affecting you.
That's right.
And it can come back and develop without you even knowing it.
Right.
And you might develop a fear of something and not know where it came from.
Exactly. Yeah. I grew up in Manhattan, so there were a ton of
That's scary in
creepy
itself.
people. Yeah. Like I'd have to go run an errand like at night. My mom would like go across the street to get some milk, and I'm like thinking, really? And it was scary, you know.
How old were you?
8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
how do you turn grief into something healing and perhaps a new beginning?
Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit of this because there's a great quote my friend used to quote from somebody else, George Eliot. It's never too late to be what you might have been.
I'll testify
I know
to that.
that's. She's a drummer, winner of Cake Wars. She made a leopard print cake. Yeah, she's very inspiring. She's in the book as well, and so is Jake, who's sitting there as well, yoga master. Okay, so. All right, along the lines of it's never too late to try something new. Remember what it was like to learn something new as a kid? You learned to ride a bike, speak a new language, play an instrument. The truth is, it is never too late to learn a new skill and bring back that childlike love of learning. Think about taking a refresher in a language you learned years ago, enroll in that self-defense class you heard about, start a hobby you always wanted to pursue. Maybe you've dreamed of rocking out an electric guitar or the drums. You're never too old to learn. Stop dreaming about wanting to do something and start doing. Inaction leads to nothing. So what are you waiting for? And get comfortable being uncomfortable. Stand on the edge of your fears, hesitations, insecurities, and take that damn leap to stretch yourself. Pay attention to your dreams because your subconscious just might steer you to the answers you're looking for.
I love that, and what I related to is when you said it's never too late. I'm turning 70 tomorrow, and Janeane, thank you. Janeane invited me to do this, and I thought, well, I've never done anything. Okay, why not? You know, I mean,
You've done so many other things, and that this will be a piece of cake.
and I gotta tell you, it was kind of scary. I've never sat
Really?
here, no, never. And I thought, okay, well, it might be fun, and so far it is.
I'm glad.
So that's great.
And let me just say that she was on stage at the Grammy Museum last Thursday performing. So
Yeah, but singing is, you know, when you've been doing it all your life, singing and playing music that's one thing, but sitting in front of people and talking and asking questions with an author, that could be scary, but
no, you're fine.
but you're fun.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Okay, so how can parents help their kids through a rough patch?
How many people have kids? Not an easy thing, you know. And my daughter and younger daughter in particular went through some rough stuff. I talk about it briefly in the book. It's really tough. Your kids close off from you sometimes. They don't want to share stuff with you. And I recommend therapy because if they don't want to talk to you, they need someone else to talk to. Sometimes just like taking them to go get stuff that they love to do. I mean, they might not think they want to do the stuff. Like I took my daughter to Michael's and like, just get a bunch of stuff, paint, whatever. And I find her in a room, not on her phone, painting a bunch of things. Yeah. So just some kind of creative outlet is an excellent thing. And also letting them feel like they don't have to tell you everything and you're not their best friend. I don't really want to be my kid's best friend. I want to be their coach and their mentor. You know, it's a certain age you can only tell your kids so much. You know, they're growing up, they're going to do what they want. You just have to do the best you can do. But because times are really tough for teens, especially having phones, and they see so much, they're seeing a tremendous amount of tragic stuff right now. So that's why self-care and pampering is not just for you, but you have to model it. And I take my daughter for a massage. I try to connect with her at opportunities. Normally she sometimes doesn't want to talk to me, and I'm like, okay. But like last night we had a wonderful conversation, you know, and I was like, I'm here for you, unconditionally, whatever you want to tell me, you know. It's tough.
Do you think that the older they get into their teens, as opposed to when they were younger, it gets harder for them
It's
to
really
communicate
hard.
what's
It's really hard.
when they're feeling down?
Yeah, because my daughter experienced trauma. We had a loss of somebody in our community, Janeane Bernstein. It was national news. I go by Bernstein. She was very traumatized by that. She's still traumatized. It's a PTSD, and it's just something we had to work through, continue to work through. Yeah, but I do think technology, also, you know, I have this no phone policy in the bedroom at night. That's really hard because kids will sneak it. And laptops, but it's not good for them at all. I mean, I was reading something about blue light and serotonin and causing depression, and you can tell when your kid is not, something's off, you know. Yeah. What else you got for me?
I am curious about this one. Why pampering yourself should be a priority.
I know that I'm guilty of just being busy constantly and not doing enough for myself. Like my daughter would like, get your nails done. And I'm like,
I'm not a pamperer, so I really,
yeah.
I want to know about this one.
When you kind of disconnect from your busyness of life and you go do something, it helps you breathe. You know, like whether it's a walk or, you know, taking a different route when you're working out, or, you know, going to buy yourself some clothes, just something that you don't normally do, because we all get busy and our priorities are work and our families. But I feel like if I'm happy and I'm pampering myself, it will be a domino effect on my family. If I'm a nicer person, I'm calmer, I feel fulfilled. Like we talked about this, creativity is very important in your life, right? If I don't feel like I have a creative outlet and I'm also not working out, things are off, and that will have a ripple effect on people around me. Yeah. Is that's not the great market cake, okay?
The cake is baked.
Yeah. Your Postmates is here.
Okay, so being happy all the time is impossible, but pinpointing things that contribute to your happiness is key.
Right. Like we forget all the things, like I mentioned earlier, that we used to like to do when we were younger. Being open to things like maybe painting or cooking or something outside of your daily grind, getting to know you, because it's never too late to just do something. You don't have to be amazing. You don't have to win cake wars. But just, you know, some kind of outlet to get yourself out there and doing something different is so rewarding.
You said something in the book, and you're going to have to help me with this
Sure.
one, that happiness was connecting with people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I loved that. What was the quote exactly, if you didn't tell me that? Because
Well, in relation to being
at that moment before it left my brain completely, it was really important to me.
Well, one thing I point out is like, if you're down about something, going out and helping other people is so important, and it helps you make less of whatever it is you're going through. I'm not saying you have to suppress or forget about your loss, somebody sick in your family, but going out and doing something for somebody else is very, very key in getting you to process whatever it is you're going through, and also you're helping somebody else.
Yeah, I think maybe you share this in a way, like writing these stories. For me, as a songwriter, if I share something intimate with a feeling,
Right.
or an idea, or something that's going on with somebody, and we both feel that same thing, and we talk about it, it inspires a song.
Yes.
Because it inspires a feeling. And when I write about that, I'm talking about what I felt and what they felt. And that's a beautiful thing, to be
Sure
able to
is.
tell a story of two people. And that just means that other people felt that same thing.
Exactly.
So you're telling people's story.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things